Alright, so we're back, of course, to talk about some Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and it is Day 5, Dev Comment 5. This one I think is pretty cool. When the last two dev comments have been a little bit underwhelming in my opinion, this one I think is really interesting because they talk about the new battle system a little bit, and are confirming something that I can't remember if they've confirmed before, but let's just hop into it. So it says, question, has the battle system changed from Final Fantasy VII Remake? Answer, in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, new comrades will join you in battle and you can cooperate with other party members in even closer ways than before. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, battle director Teruki Endo, I think that's how I say his name. So essentially, new party members and team attacks, or co-op attacks, whatever they're, I don't know if they have an actual, synergy attacks thing is what they're called with the Yuffie Sonon DLC. But yeah, something we've been expecting for a long time. This one I wasn't sure. I feel like they've talked about doing this cooperation attacks, team attacks, synergy attacks with the rest of the party members before, but I can't quite remember just because we talk about so much FF7 on the channel. I forget sometimes. People remind me often in the comments of things that we've talked about. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. So I don't remember if they've ever confirmed that we're going to have those with the party members, but the fact that we can cooperate with new party members in even closer ways than before. It seems to be confirmation of that. So it'd be really interesting to see what depths they go to with this, because if we have combo attacks with every party member with every other party member, holy shit, what the hell are those going to be? What exactly would a Kate Sith and Barrett synergy attack be? And how many do we have with each character with every other character? Because if we just use the episode intermission DLC, Yuffie and Sonon had multiple different synergy attacks, but also a synergized limit break and shit. So will we have that with our party members too? What's a Cloud and Red 13 limit break, synergized limit break be? Holy hell, dude. There's a lot of possibilities here, and that's what's exciting. Actually, now that I think about it, this is already kind of shown with the ending of Remake, where when you're destroying pieces of the Whisper Harbinger, you see Barrett and Red 13 using their limit breaks together, Fire in the Hole and Stardust Ray. So they've already kind of been alluding to that. At least that's what maybe their limit break combo could potentially be going into Rebirth. And maybe that's all it is just them using their limit breaks together and nothing crazy special. Cloud would be doing Ascension and Red 13's behind him hitting a fucking Stardust Ray or something. It could be simple stuff like that. But it'd be kind of cool to have brand new limit breaks that are combos. This again is pretty exciting though, just because Remake is already lauded as having a really great combat system, and if going forward we're gonna have that even more expanded with the whole party having synergy attacks and things like that, dude, that's just gonna be so much better. And that's really all they have to do. Obviously we want new weapons that give us new abilities that we can unlock permanently and things like that, but having a bunch of different synergy attacks we can do with each and every party member, that's just exciting, dude. That adds so much depth and team builds and stuff. That's gonna be huge too. That's something that'll be interesting going forward is team builds, because if each and every character has a different synergy attack with a different character, and those would have different effects and different abilities and things that they do, you can really promote team building. And that's something I hope we get with Rebirth that we're not sure of yet, is the ability to the PHS system. We don't know if they're going to be doing that or not. I've always been of the belief that they will, because that's what OG FF7 does. You can, once you get the PHS, you can just flip party members anytime you want to. I don't know why they would change that. That'd be weird, but some people are of the mindset that they won't. But yeah, that'll promote team builds, and that's exciting to me. To play a bit of devil's advocate here, this will be a very narrative-driven game, so they might force particular party members on you. And even with the OG FF7, with the PHS system, the way it works in lore or whatever, is that our group isn't traveling together. It's just the main party that you're controlling for fights and stuff like that, and the other party members are meant to be somewhere else. It's why when you go back to the Gold Saucer for the dating segment, when you're all in the hotel, Kate Sith or whoever talks about how they're never together like that. That's why they're recapping shit. And I've never personally been a fan of that, just because I think it's kind of dumb. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. We're supposed to be traveling together, trying to hunt down Sephiroth, save the world. Why would we split up exactly? That's kind of odd to me. And that's why I think Final Fantasy X and 12 kind of have the perfect party system in some ways, where with 10 you can swap in the middle of fighting, which has always been awesome. And with 12, you can do the same thing, but also you can use your entire roster in 12, where if your team of 3 dies, you get to pull out the other team of 3 and continue fighting. That's just great to me. And with those games, it truly felt like you were traveling with a party and fighting with a party, right? It didn't seem like y'all were breaking apart or just it's your team fighting, but the rest of your team's off to the side to stand there watching y'all get your asses beat. It felt like a real party, especially 10. 10's that's the whole point of 10 is the Guardians and shit, protecting Yuna and shit. So I hope that we have something similar with Rebirth, where it's the whole team always traveling together, and some people are hoping for the ability to swap party members in the middle of fighting, and that would be pretty fucking cool if we can do that. I know we're talking a lot about the like cooperation attacks and shit, but that's kind of the main talking point from this, because like the new comrades will join is exciting, but we know, right? We know Red 13's joining. If we're following the same trajectory of OG FF7, Yuffie should be the next party member that joins up with us, just because you can get her like right after leaving Midgar, or not right after, but go through the Myth of Mine, then you can get Yuffie. And then following that would be Kate Sith, then Vincent, then Sid. So yeah, it's not like a surprise that we're getting new party members, but I have seen a segment of the community already losing their shit, like they have for the last couple of days. Like I've literally seen people say like, "Oh, new comrades, Sid and Vincent," and it's like, dude, yeah, probably, but like, man, this is not confirmation of that. Like, stop with that shit, man. Like, we're probably gonna get the whole team. Like, I expect we will, but like, these are so vague, dude. Like, people are looking way too much into these sometimes. Like, relax, because we have 3 new party members to get to probably before we get to even whether or not we're gonna get to Sid or Vincent, right? I've also seen a little bit of the community like seeing like new comrades will join, as in like brand new party members outside of the core 9 from OG FF7. And while that one's also a bit of a reach, not an impossibility, so to speak, just because prior to episode intermission, like none of us would have expected Sonon, right? But that happened. We got a brand new party member, and he was every bit a party member as you can possibly be without the actual physical ability to control him, right? You could level him up, change out his gear, level his gear, teach him abilities. He had a weapon cores and shit like that, right? So he was every bit a party member. You just couldn't physically control the character. It's not impossible, man. And we've talked about there being like playable Zack and stuff like that in the game, so who knows, right? But still, that's not confirmation of that. And I suppose I kind of have to talk about this. So Audrey's doing translations on Twitter, of course, and she has a theory that all the green words in Japanese are some sort of hidden meaning. Let's just read this really quickly. Let's take a look at day 1 through 5 FF7 Rebirth tweet keywords in Japanese, which really does give me reason to believe even more that there's a hidden message. Day 1, fix the timeline, steep freedom, the whereabouts of destiny, get ready, friends join forces to fight. All these cryptic words can potentially hint at Zack either joining Cloud and Co. to fight or is working alongside us to fix the timeline. One thing interesting to note is Day 5 uses the picture of Cloud and Sephiroth with the words friends increase and will join you to fight, which also could be an allusion to Sephiroth fighting with you in the flashback too. Look, my dudes, I don't want to sit here and just hate on Audrey. It feels like that's what we do every time we talk about her on this channel, like I'm disagreeing with her or whatever the fuck. But she kind of just does translations to her discretion, right? When she has a theory, she's doing translations to make her theory make sense. And all this kind of stems on her taking the first day's message of adjusting like the release date, adjusting the time, as in us fixing the time in the game, fixing the timeline in the game. And you lose me right there. You lose me with the day 1 stuff. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe there's some sort of hidden meaning here. I had to talk about this. I don't know. That like when that. You can see what the message we looked at. Like the first day it says like adjust time, but she puts in brackets timeline. It's like, now you're just adding shit. Like, come on. What I will say though is I don't entirely disagree with like her interpretation, so to speak. Just because we've talked about having to fix the timeline before, like that being a possibility potentially. Like, because obviously there seems to be a ripple effect. You know, Biggs lived, Zack potentially lived, Jesse might live, Wedge, all that stuff, and like they should be dead according to OG FF7, right? So there's a possibility that, like, you know, by the end of the story, we could potentially need to fix the timeline, and maybe characters have to die that shouldn't be alive type shit, whatever the fuck. But her interpretation is multiple timelines, which is the train she's always been on since, like, 2020 or so, since she's been doing translations of, like, the Ultimanian shit. So I think the common consensus these days is there isn't multiple timelines, but I think most people believe that we altered the timeline, which is why the chip bag appearing with a different logo and type of shit, right? So, I don't know. It remains to be seen. And obviously this like concept as a whole isn't like impossible or brand new. It's Nomura, it's Final Fantasy. And also the Japanese side of stuff are like to tease shit sometimes and be a little more spoilery, so to speak, because like with the Japanese Rebirth trailer, we had Cloud saying Zack's name, right? Which was a huge surprise, and they didn't do that for the English trailer. They definitely edited that and took that out. And then if you look like the English version of these dev comments, like the green words don't really seem to make sense if you put them like in order, like trying to make a sentence out of them or whatever, and they kind of line up a little bit more with the Japanese side of things. So again, maybe it is teasing something, but ultimately it doesn't really matter. Like, anyways, I'll probably talk about that more than I should have. Anyways, that is going to be the video, my dudes. So what are your thoughts? New comrades, does that mean confirmed new party members 100%, 1000%? Sid, Vincent, we're getting everybody. And also, what are your thoughts on the team attacks? What are you expecting? We're going to have just like one combo attack per character with every other character, like Cloud and Barrett only have one attack together, and that's it? Or we're going to have like combo limit breaks? What are you thinking? That is the video, my dudes. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Social networks in the description below. Follow me on Twitter, _YT. That's it. Bye.
Used to care what people thought. but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame, we blow that. Like Coltrane, we in here. Like Logain, or leave it. Like Cobain.